Hello there and welcome to my boat shed. My name is Panu and I am building this 50 meter or 50 foot liveaboard cruising sailboat from scratch here in Finland. This video is gonna continue right where we left in the previous one. There was a lot of things happening and hopefully we get things finished here, as you can maybe tell already. So let's jump right back where we left. Okay, I think I made a huge mistake with these by pre-drilling the screw holes into these pieces. Now I have taken off most of this side here. I was able to get maybe 2 or 3 of them without snapping them. And to compare, I did this side beam here. There was hundreds of screws and none of those broke. But now I have maybe over 10 screws just snapped. And I think the reason is that when I did the pre-drilling, the epoxy got into the threads inside of that hole and glued the screw tightly in there. And now it's impossible to get it out. But when you do just screwing them without the pre-drilled hole, there is no room for the epoxy to attach the actual screw. So that is a lesson to be learned. No pre-drilling the holes for laminating with epoxy. I bet this will snap as well. Yeah. It doesn't move at all. The screw just stays in there. And yeah, I don't know. I have to get them out, but I think they're long enough that they stick out from the other side, so when I turn the boat over, I think I'm gonna able to get them out. Well, this is what I would call a screw up. Total screw up. So this percentage of failed screw is just freaking... Now all these screws are in the boat, and those are basically only metal thing that are in this whole thing right now. So I just can't imagine the work that I have to do to get those screws out on the other side. So yeah, that's definitely the reason to pre-drill the holes so that the epoxy can get into that hole when the glue is smooshed in, because there was one piece that I didn't have those pre-drilled holes and those screws came up intact. So yeah, no pre-drilling. Don't do pre-drilling of holes where the epoxy can go into the contact of the screw threads. So yeah, what a bummer. This is freaking annoying. These are not the problem that have this longer shaft come out, but there is a few screws that snap right after the head. So these I need to be very careful, because we need to shape these things, those pieces, with a planer. So yeah. These are the things that you don't count the time and you don't expect to happen. What a waste of time. I wonder if there is a drill bit that is kind of the hollow head that I could drill around the screw. I don't know if that kind of tool exists that would drill around this thing. Put comment down below if that kind of drill bit exists. It should be long enough to go all the way over screw this length, maybe 50 to 60 millimeters or something. Oh well. Okay, now I have prepared this area for the first fiberglass job of the boat. I'm a little bit nervous. I think it's gonna be all right. That second test came up quite good. I weighted this, so this weighs about 70 something grams. It should be kind of 1-to-1 with epoxy. Of course, I have to remember that especially the plywood, it soaks up the epoxy quite a lot. So I think something like 100 grams of epoxy should go into this whole thing, maybe a little bit more. But then we also have all these seams here, so I want to have a good rounding in them first. And I think I'm gonna do that first. So I'm gonna first make all the fillets, and then I'm gonna spread the epoxy with the fiberglass on top of that. It's okay that the wood soaks up some of that epoxy from that fillet. There is plenty in there anyway. The fillets are gonna be pretty large, so I need to fill all those little cavities in there. Yeah, I think I'm ready to rock here, and let's mix first some epoxy with that thickening agent, and then we'll spread into this and see what happens. This starting point is very good because nobody is ever going to see it after the planking is done, so it's not a big deal if it comes a little bit bumpy. All right, now the fillets are in. It took 250 grams of epoxy, this stuff. Luckily I did a little bit extra by accident, so it was just enough for this. Now I'm gonna make some unthickened epoxy, then I'm gonna roll here and start laying the fiberglass on top of this and work my way out. I hope this works. I was afraid that this would be a total mess, but it looks pretty okay, I think. Well, that doesn't look like much, but actually this is pretty huge milestone for me because this is now the first fiberglass on the boat. And yeah, there's plenty of that coming. It was a little bit slow, I'd say, but of course the shape of this thing is also a bit complicated. So what came in mind that I think I can make it from smaller pieces. The fiberglass cloth, squeezing it on all of those shapes, it's a little bit difficult, but I can of course make smaller pieces and kind of go layer by layer on the corners and then wrap the bigger piece here in the center. That would probably be faster and maybe easier to get all those air bubbles out. But that is quite exciting to start putting the fiberglass in the boat. I'm not sure yet if I like fiberglassing, but the end result seems to be good enough, at least for now, remembering that nobody's gonna ever see these. Alright, here we have the rest of the ballast keel timber. I was kind of going to do this off camera. This is just a regular oak tabletop that I'm gonna use as a filler pieces. It's nice and easy to work with because it's uniformly thick and ready glued stuff. Yesterday I did those keel bolt holes and now I was going to mill the actual holes, the final holes, with the compression bit and I started to do those holes and yeah, you can probably see the issue here. This is melted epoxy which is now hardened, but the bit just melted this whole stuff and it splattered it all over the place. So there is this melted plastic fibers all over here. Yeah, that obviously didn't work very well, but also the actual router bit, I'm not sure if you can see it from here, but it's completely clogged with the epoxy plastic stuff, so it doesn't cut anything at all anymore. So I need to clean this up now and I think it should come off pretty easily. Note to self that compression bit, that spiral cutting bit, it doesn't work with cutting epoxy. It creates too much heat. Yeah, that was kind of unexpected. But otherwise, I'm pretty thrilled that I'm gonna get this done because when I have done these, we're ready to glue in all the rest of the oak. So those are just there dry fitted, they fit super well, but these pieces will go on top of those, and then we have the full ballast keel timbers over there, and that is amazing. I just want to get over with this because I I have a feeling that I have done just this thing for several weeks now. So yeah. After 3 hours of CNC machining, these are now done. So these are the last spacers to the ballast keel timber. There's now holes for the keel bolts, all done. And these are actually oversized a little bit, so they are 3 centimeters wider and bigger in all directions than the actual keel bottom will be, but that's intentional because I want to have some play in there to be able to shape them a little bit. And yeah, this is now going to wait for tomorrow because it turned out that the epoxy wasn't really cured enough for making this kind of cutting. It clogged the second rotor bit as well. So there was this kind of clumps of goo coming out from the holes. Now it's a little bit hardened, but I can still feel that it's a little bit kind of sticky. So it probably is that the epoxy hasn't cured from yesterday enough. It has been a little bit cold, like under 10 degrees all the time here, so must be that. So I will wait tomorrow to be able to sand these, because now it's a little bit sticky and it clogs the sandpaper. So I cannot sand those away just yet. And the idea, of course, is that those pieces will come on top of these that we have here already. These are not glued in yet, of course, but it will raise the level of this surface where the keel will actually be attached to well above the hull thickness. So they will kind of come through the hull. And when we do the planking and stuff, we're gonna do it around the keel shape. And that's why it's bigger than the actual keel, so I will have some room there to shape it eventually, whatever shape it becomes. So yeah, there's a little bit of play in there. And those grooves that you saw on those pieces, they are for these frames that come a little bit over this surface, just still so. And now when the keel bolt holes are all in already, so there's no drilling for the keel bolts anymore. So these will all go right in the position they need to go. This one piece is of course attached to the bolt already, so we have the keel bolt holes here, and they all line up with each other. So, and as you can see, there's a little bit of a gap in here, so this needs to be filled with some thickened epoxy or some pieces of oak before we glue this in. So fill this area, but all this extra material that goes over those, so this will come here somehow, so this will be shaped into the shape of the hull before we do the planking. So the planks will go somewhere over here. So there's still some trimming to do after we get those things done. But it was necessary to do it this way, so we can get this flat surface transferred from here to here. And meanwhile, while that machine did its work, I built this box here. And this is heated box for the epoxy. And inside there is something special, because this is the epoxy distribution machine I've been building for the last year or so. So there's 2 magnetic valves. This is one, there's another one over there. This is epoxy resin, and the hardener will be there, and it will weight the epoxy and distribute the right amounts of hardener, whatever resin you get from there. I haven't tested it yet, but it should work. I will make a whole separate video of that. We'll see soon if that works. It should help to mix small amounts of epoxy if I need some more in doing this fiberglass jobs and stuff like that. So that's why I wanted to finish this now. I should have finished it a long time ago, but so far I have done so big amounts of epoxy mixes, so it really haven't been that crucial. But when we do fiberglassing and smaller amounts, I think this should be pretty good. Yeah, but we'll get back into that in a separate video and see how it works. Oh, and one more thing about this thing. The reason I had to build this is that there is no kind of universal mixing things available for epoxy. At least I haven't found any. And if I found one, it was kind of industrial machine and it cost like 10,000 or something like that. So yeah, this is a thing that I found from YouTube. It's basically the only source that I got for making machine like this. But yeah, we'll see about that later. Alright, we got a lot of things done in this and the previous video, and things are looking pretty good for starting the planking very soon. But for now, thank you so much for watching. Remember, of course, to subscribe to the channel, give me a like, put a comment down below and share this project with your friends in Facebook or wherever you might be, so we can get a little bit more views and subscribers for me to able to make these videos and continue filming this project. We'll see you in the next video in a couple of weeks. I hope we can get a lot of things done by then as well. And thank you so much for watching again, and we'll see you. Bye bye.